Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hypnosis Hero, the bi-monthly hypnosis podcast, where we talk to a different world-renowned hypnotist each and every week. I'm Jim Kellner, and of course, on the show we have co-hosts Brian Bay and co-host and tech support guy Shawn Kostiuk. They'll be joining us in just a bit. Brian actually may not be joining us today. We're not sure. We're never sure about Brian. If you're a longtime watcher, listener, you understand that. So as I say, every second and fourth Thursday, mostly, we bring in a guest hypnotist. What we do is we chat for about 45 minutes to an hour. We want to get to know them, their theories about hypnosis, what kind of programs they offer, and that kind of thing. Give you an idea of different types of hypnosis. There's all kinds of stuff out there. And then we do live hypnosis. That's right. We do hypnosis through the screen. This is your chance, your opportunity to try hypnosis. Now, of course, it's going to be different than when you're sitting, in the therapist's office or on a Zoom or on stage, but it gives you a chance to kind of get a little bit of a sample. And if you're watching right now live, would you do us a favor? Just drop a comment down. Let us know you're watching. Let us know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where we're getting people watching. And I do want to remind you to please subscribe, download the Hypnosis Hero app in the Android store, Apple store, coming someday. All right. With that, I'm going to bring on my good buddy, tech support guru and co-host, Shawn Kostiuk. Hello, Shawn.
Good evening, everybody.
Wow, good evening. Not for you, sir. Who did you mouth off to?
Well, there's a long and sordid story about this. Suffice to say that it is officially winter in Canada. It has arrived. We've got snow on the ground that isn't going to go away. But before that, we had lots of rain, and so rain and snow tend to make a whole lot of ice. And for the first time in about 10 years, I actually finally tripped and actually fell. The good news is I've proven, without a shadow of a doubt, gravity works. So the glasses, my glass. Anybody who's friends with me on Facebook, they've seen what my glasses look like. They saw what I looked like with the goose egg that was actually up. Let me get the right side here.
Yeah.
And this has all started draining down now. So this is 2 days in, and I, because I had a 10-year streak going of not falling, this is day number 2.
I've actually fallen the last 2 years. In fact, I fell so badly, I think 2 years ago, that I damn near knocked myself unconscious, and my Apple Watch went off, telling me, do we need to call 911?
I'm actually, well, you know what? My Apple Watch seems to have a real issue with me in particular, because it'll tell me to stand up, and I'm already standing.
It can't tell you're standing, Shawn. It thinks you've fallen down.
So I don't know. Apparently, where I sit, where I type, and when I'm standing, and I have my wrist down at my side, it must be about the same height, because it has no clue.
Janaea Renea says, someone get the Nobel Prize for testing gravity. That's right, Shawn.
Right.
You get the Nobel Prize for testing.
And I know the Apple story. It's generally considered apocryphal, but the apple falling on the head and all of that. But reality is, it works.
It does.
I'm a believer.
A believer and a scientist. That's what you are, Shawn.
You got to test these things. Lies must be challenged.
Absolutely. So I do want to remind everybody that you are going to experience live hypnosis later on in the show. We will put up a notification of that. Shawn will remind me, of course. And we do want to make sure that you understand that you should not be driving, moving around, operating heavy machinery, cutting things, anything like that while the hypnosis is happening. During this part, no problem. That's going to happen in about 45 minutes to an hour from now. So prepare yourselves. And because we've had a lot of people really like that thing where we all three join in, or whoever's on the show with the co-host, we all join in doing hypnosis together. We've gotten a lot of great feedback about that. So we're going to do that tonight. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm really excited about our guest coming up. Um, so, and I do. Let's mention that real quick. For those of you out there that are entrepreneurs and or hypnotists, my good friend Grant Saunders and I, we have a mastermind that meets once a month. We do a mastermind call, video call. We talk about all kinds of stuff. This month we're talking about leveling up with AI. And there's also a membership site that goes along with it where you get a lot of free content. Well, it's not really free because you have to pay to join, but you get a $1 trial. So give it a try. Shawn put the link in there already. KellnerandSaunders.com/levelupmm. We'd love to see you in there. Costs $1 to give it a try. Come join us. All right. Now, without further ado, I hate ado. Shawn, I hate ado.
En français?
You know how much I hate ado.
Well, you know what? Just drink Mountain Dew and then everything will be all right.
Nerd.
Hey, you're squashing my supper. That was supper during university. Was Mountain Dew, and instead you guys had Cheetos, we had something better called Cheesies. It was a much heartier cheese doodle, but that was my supper most nights at university. So
a hearty cheese doodle. I'm intrigued, Shawn. I am intrigued.
I'll smuggle some in next time I come. Homeland Security, you're not listening to this.
That's right. Okay, so without further of that ado, this next guy. So I don't know our next guest very well. Shawn knows him very well, and I'm excited because I'm always excited to meet new hypnotists. Of course, I'm familiar with his work. We're colleagues on Facebook, so I am familiar with him, but I don't know him real well. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know him. And he's a man of many hats. He's a hypnotist of 32 years. 32 years, my goodness. He's a reverend through the Universal Life Church. Anybody else? This guy too. A practicing sorcerer, medium, martial artist, and personal trainer. Through the years, he's worked to support and grow the study and practice of men's mental health through mentoring systems and guided archetypal growth, as well as teaching hypnosis and therapists functional esoteric systems to integrate into their practice. He's also the founder of Liberation Hypnosis. The website for that is liberationhypnosis.com, I believe. Yes, liberationhypnosis.com. Also, Witch Fit. We're looking forward to seeing that. And then I'm probably saying this wrong, Magiotherapy System. But we'll have Nick correct all that because coming to the show next. Hold on. Shawn, I wish you could control some of these other things. I wish you had the powers over these because you'll know why in just a second. Everyone, please give it up for Nickolas Ely. Nickolas.
Hey.
Hey, what happened?
How's it going?
Ah, shoot. Hold that thought. Where's the damn cheering at?
Do I have to do my Kermit the Frog impression again this time?
Would you? Yeah, would you? Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I thought the cheering was queued up, but I don't know what happened. So, Shawn, 1, 2, 3, yay! Wow!
Perfect. I think that was the best Kermit the Frog impression I've seen all day.
Kermit the Frog here. That's how I do my mic tests.
Hey, Janae, thank you.
Awesome. Nick, thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you. That was the best pronunciation of Magiotherapy I've heard, actually. Most people look at that askance and ask how to say it, and I think you said it perfectly. So, well done.
I'm a well-seasoned broadcaster, as everyone knows. And Nick, you have got the voice for broadcasting and for hypnosis, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well done.
I'm just lucky to be born with it, I guess. Face for radio and voice for it too, so it works.
Yes, and speaking of attractive men, look at this, everybody. What a treat tonight. All three bald gentlemen for your viewing pleasure. Ladies and, gentlemen, if that's your way to go. No judgments here. You're free to look. I still haven't started up my Only Jim's fan page, but or maybe just to be only baldies.
Oh, only balds, only wigs.
Onlybalds.com.
Somewhere there's a wig maker who's very happy about this meeting.
Hold on, I got to go get that domain name really quick. Hold on. So, Nick, welcome to the show. Thanks for being on tonight.
Thank you.
So I read your bio. What else can you tell the folks about you? Or did I sum it up?
Yeah, it's hard to sum up. So, like I said, I've been doing hypnosis since I was 14. I picked up a book. I used to be really into old school paranormal investigation, and as only the 14-year-old mind can be. And I got very interested in the use of hypnosis to help people recall, unusual, anomalous events, and started investigating there. I had some, bless them, but I had some very trusting friends who probably were just putting way too much trust into a 14-year-old to practice hypnosis with them. And I went from there into a lot more entertainment stuff. I had a small entertainment business in Monterey, California for a few years. But I found more satisfaction in therapy and helping people actually improve their lives. And once I got my first taste of helping people stop smoking, lose weight, put away the bad habituations, I was pretty hooked at that point and seeing the changes that I could make in people's lives.
Awesome.
So been doing that. I picked up the personal training stuff to help with the weight loss clients, and the esoterica has always been in my life. Reverend through the ULC, signed my name on the internet page and everything.
That's right.
Yeah. And easiest class I've ever taken in my life. Literal question. What is your name? Congratulations, you're a Reverend. All right, cool.
Congratulations, Reverend.
Yeah. I still do you get the emails too? Like, you've been a Reverend for a year now. I'm like, cool. Yeah. Where's my pen? Do I get something for that? Yeah,
it's funny. I remember seeing those back in Rolling Stone back in the early 90s and stuff. You see the ads for, $1 become a Reverend, but now it's all online. So,
cool. I mean,
cool. Can you tell people what you mean by the esoterics?
Oh, sure. So it's kind of funny. I made my big break in Hypnothoughts Live convention, which is where I go every time. Actually teaching functional sigil magic in the style of Grant Morrison, who's a well-known artist and magician. And when I was a child, I used to have the strange and unusual things happen, spooky stuff, shadow people and all that kind of jazz that only some people believe in, and I'm not ever trying to convince anyone of it. But it was enough that I always did some research, and hypnosis actually unlocked several doors for me in that sense. When I first started studying hypnosis, I had already been reading about a lot of old religious and let's call them psychosocial meditation systems that people call magic. Started looking into that, and I realized we're talking about the same thing, like changes in consciousness according to intent and will, and how that manifests in the real world. Now, of course, when I was 14 or 15, I wanted to be able to throw fireballs and lightning bolts and all the stuff that I read in Dungeons and Dragons, and of course, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I know. Damn it!
It's such a bummer, right? God, if only. Can you imagine how many conversations would just end much more quickly and less awkwardly if we could just throw fireballs?
Yep.
But what I have discovered over the decades is that by blending old esoteric systems of meditation, like chants, even some forms of tantra, energy manipulations, what some people call Reiki, I think is a really great example. We can actually have functional changes in consciousness, functional changes in material substance as well, which, I mean, we've all been in the game for a while, so we've seen the hypnosis that removes warts or, has those unusual cardiac improvements that has no explanation. Biologists can find a mechanism of how it happened, but not how it initiated. When I started actually studying and reading that, I decided that my purpose was actually to start bringing these old technologies that, we used to call witchcraft or magic or sorcery, and start bringing them into the modern world using hypnosis. I think we need a better understanding of what people were doing thousands of years ago that we're doing now with just our voices. Oh, Scott will cast a fireball. Yeah, that's Scott. That is, hey, Scott.
Scott, you might as well just use a lightning bolt. I mean, it's going to bounce off all the walls anyway.
Yeah, chain lightning. That's how it works.
It's funny speaking about magic. I remember I really was fascinated by magic when I was a kid. I think my parents bought me a magic kit when I was about 12. And as soon as I discovered it wasn't real magic, it was just a bunch of tricks, I was done with it. I said, I don't want this. I want real magic. Disappointing.
Yeah, it's funny because I live in Texas, and because I become very open about my approach to things, and that some people have objections to the way that I define things based on their religious grounds. But it's always kind of amazed me that if we describe a person being able to just use a few words and just a different tonality of voice and just a slight change, and people can fall asleep, and then people become entranced, and then people actually start doing what they need to do. If we call it hypnosis or psychotherapy, thank you, Janaea, you're like the fifth person today to tell me to do ASMR. If we call that hypnosis, everyone accepts it. If we call that magic, everyone freaks out and has a problem. I love my little Joker impression. Everyone loses their minds. But ultimately, I do believe that there are deeper levels of consciousness and reality that we can explore using older methods combined with newer ones. And of course, the scientific process needs to be involved at all times, so we don't get stuck in the woo-woo nonsense.
Interesting.
See, and I was employing the scientific process earlier this week. Gravity works.
Yeah. Well, it has to be replicated is the thing.
Right. So, Shawn?
It hasn't been peer reviewed.
Well, no, it has to be. I guess it would have to be peer reviewed by somebody else. I guess, Shawn, I'll take one for the team. I guess I'll come on next week.
It's not recommended.
Not recommended. So, tell me about this. Now, you've got a few different programs you do. What is this? What is this magiotherapy system?
So magiotherapy is a system that I put together for hypnotists, of course, but also psychotherapists. If I can ever find psychotherapists willing to actually learn a magical system and not worry about their license, I will shake this person's hand vigorously. It is a system of both hypnosis and a system of functional esoterica. So it's roughly about a 5-6 month course. And I have new information drop every week. Every other week is a Q&A to answer the questions that come up. I teach functional hypnosis, of course, the big NLP language patterns, the responsibility and moral obligations, how to actually get in a trance, what you do, all the jazz, all the stuff that everyone would do, of course. But I also show how to do particular energetic systems that make everything that much more powerful. How to handle certain changes, how to actually set up a space that is truly, spiritually sacred as an office point, and let that transformative power of being a hypnotist actually become much more strong. Interestingly, once I started going public with this work, I don't get anything else in business. I have people coming to me for spirit problems, as in they're being pestered by spirits. I've had people come to me for all sorts of different attachments that do this. And what's interesting is that apparently a big market for it. Like as we see, organized religion start to decline, people are turning back to older systems of thinking. And I think that it's kind of the responsible thing to do to help in the way that I can help without helping people fall into old superstitions that are just non-functional.
Interesting. I love that too, because basically what you're saying is your tribe found you.
Definitely.
Is really awesome because, I think a lot of times, we're afraid maybe to market, certain things or talk about certain things, that we do, or we want to try to please everybody. But the more that we please, we focus on what we like and what we really want to do, I think you're just going to draw those people to you.
Yeah, and it was just one of those interesting things. I mean, the environment I'm in, and I'm not smack talking Texas, even though Texas does deserve it in many cases. I can think of at least 5 different churches within a 10-mile radius who call for people who think like I do to be shot on sight. So you want to talk about performance pressure. That is a lot more than any street show I ever did,
Yeah.
having to worry about that.
Wow.
But once you do kind of, as you both know, once you step out from the shadow and actually stake your claim and, draw your line, then yeah, your tribe finds you.
Absolutely. Love
Mm.
that. Love that. Somebody was just asking me about that recently. Who should they market to? And I was like, you've got a great story. You're overcoming obstacles and stuff. I mean, you're just going to draw those people to you. So, remember that, everybody. Just be you. Just be you, and you're going to attract the people that are attracted to you. And then you don't have to worry about, them searching around, trying to find, this is one of the things that, people will shop around for different hypnotists, just like they do shop around for everything else. But they're less likely to shop around if they resonate with your message. And that's the other reason why we got to get content out there. So they do get to know you,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anyone can do smoking cessation, for example. I mean, that's the big go-to for the industry.
Yeah.
But if you want smoking cessation for, 45-year-old widows who, served in the army for 10 years, well, you have somebody who can work with that as opposed to just random Google searches.
Exactly.
So those niches are so crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I tell people I don't want clients that are looking for a hypnotist. I want clients that are looking for Jim Kellner. That's what.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually, I think, some of the best advice that I got from James at Hypnothoughts. Do you remember James with beard?
James. No? What's his last name?
Hazelrig? Actually, it's Hazelrig. Thank you. Yeah, James Hazelrig. It was one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me was market you.
That's good.
What? That actually clicks.
Personal branding. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just really too bad that I purchased like the long-term plan on my website name. Dang it. All right, I can work with this. Is what it is.
Yeah. And so I'm curious too, are there certain, so you're drawing a lot of people as far as clients that are into the esoteric stuff, but what kind of problems are they presenting? What kind of solutions are they looking for?
Gotcha. So, for example, I'll share the story with permission. Somebody that I worked with years ago, actually a very similar situation to 2 or 3 people I've worked with, was had a problem with a spirit that was harassing them. Now, first thing I always do, because my degree is actually in legitimate psychology, not that anything else is illegitimate, but first thing I do always I screen for mental health issues.
Great.
And I've got the list in my head. I go through everything there.
Yeah.
And once there's a certain pattern that these type of events follow. So if they follow, then I teach that person, how to actually banish, or if need be, I perform an exorcism to actually remove whatever's there. But after that, then they're dealing with anxiety. They're dealing with depression. They're dealing with fear. They're dealing with the fact that their worldview just got blown wide open without their asking it to. Now, for some people, they adapt to that really well. And for other people, they go right back to, fundamental materialism, and they want to pretend like whatever happened didn't happen, and they're crazy, and the bald man fixed whatever it was, and he, did whatever, which is fine. It doesn't really matter to me what they believe as long as they're okay. But it's a very interesting crossover when people come and just from this, psychological background, okay, this person is clearly, having a psychotic episode, but they're fully lucid. They're not having deranged beliefs. They're not a danger to anybody. They're just literally waking up in the middle of the night and seeing someone standing over in the corner. Even if what they're experiencing is only up here, that dual-sided approach covers everything.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's an interesting overlay, and it's one that's actually worked really well for me for an underserved community. So I've been enjoying it so far.
That's really cool. Boy, I gotta say, I mean, it doesn't matter if there's somebody in your room physically or just in your mind. It's gonna be a scary experience for you.
Oh, absolutely. And I have, beg your pardon, I have helped many people who it's clear it's just in their mind. And that's not a problem. It's objectively real for them.
Right.
So why the hell not take care of it the same way?
Yeah. And you're also into fitness. I mean, there's
Mhm.
you've got a strong emphasis on fitness in your life.
Mhm.
You're a personal trainer. Tell us more about that, about the fitness road. Is that something you've always been into?
Well, I was always trying to take care of myself, and I do powerlifting. So it's kind of funny because I have the big barrel chest and the big barrel stomach. So when people see me, they're like, "You're a personal trainer?" I'm like, yes, we're not all 20-year-olds on steroids. Thank you. But when I was 31, I received a traumatic brain injury. I took a steel pipe to the head, in fact,
Ouch.
and laid me out for a while. And because of the reverberant damage to my spine, I experienced some paralysis and hindrance of movement all along my left side.
Mm.
So it was a workman's comp injury, unfortunately. And if you know anything about that system, you know you don't get helped because it's a legal system. It's not a medical system.
Mm.
Once all that was settled, I dedicated myself into a very rigorous yoga and exercise routine that actually restored how I can move. So once I was actually going through that, and because I couldn't, I mean, it's such a serious brain injury, I couldn't really work. I couldn't really do anything that I had spent the years doing that I had identified myself as. So after a few months of just kind of hating my life and hating on myself, as anyone with a debilitating injury can tell you, that's a natural reaction. I remember I was sitting down and I was spending 2 hours a day meditating, and my own voice popped up into my head and said, "Hey, you've been a hypnotist for a while, dummy. What would you do if a client came to you with this?"
Mm.
And I was like, aha, I know what to do. Um, and it led to my personal understanding, and what I try and teach my clients is that you can't separate the body and the mind, or the soul, if you want to use that language. One is an extension of the other, and they integrate so smoothly. To favor one and disregard the other is a disrespect to the whole of the organism.
Mm.
And it can go either way. I see gym bros who come in and shoot up steroids at the local gym. They forget they don't cultivate their mind, they don't cultivate their spirit, they just get big. And that's people who only focus on the meat. And then you have people who will only focus on the academics or on the spiritual side of things, and then they get very health challenged.
Mm.
And if we're not taking care of both of those things at once, what are we doing, right? We're just kind of letting ourselves degrade in certain ways.
Yeah. Interesting. Folks, if you want to work with Nick, his website is liberationhypnosis.com. He's in Texas, but he works with people all across the world via Zoom. So you can definitely work with him. Do you do a lot of personal training for people as well?
Yes, actually, I'm putting together WitchFit right now, and I have a kind of a smaller version of WitchFit. WitchFit is a full service series of particular strength building exercises put together from my personal training experience. A hypnosis course where anybody going through a transformative personal fitness transformation, somebody who wants to lose 50 to 100 pounds. As you know, I'm sure you've helped people lose massive amounts of weight before in this business. You deal with a lot of psychological stuff.
Yeah.
Like their fundamental sense of self changes, their relationship with food and their body changes. I provide through my hypnotic package that is included in the system, protection and help for that. As well as in WitchFit, I provide actually magical lessons similar to what I provide in Magiotherapy.
Hmm.
And in Two Torches is just basically the hypnosis and the personal training for people who aren't comfortable with magic, because I get not everybody's on board with that. It is what it is.
I get that. I get that. Yeah, it is interesting, and it's funny too. I remember this one client, speaking of having to deal with issues during weight loss, she had dropped about 20 pounds, and she had about another 40 to go. But somebody at work told her how good she looked. It was a man, and she started binging again right away.
Yep.
And we had to work on that. It was so yeah. There's a lot of things that come up during the process.
Yeah. I've had exactly that protective mechanism pop up too. And that's something we don't think about. So many people will put on weight to protect themselves from attention like that.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I deal with there. And it's so fascinating to see all these different ways that the unconscious will function to protect us or assist us. And that's just kind of one of them.
Yeah. I remember one thing that we came up with together when we were working together was that stronger was safer than having to wait. And that really resonated with her because she really did feel like she needed to be able to protect herself from being hurt again. As she'd been hurt, like so many women and men too. So many people are hurt as children and growing up and things like that. And then they, like you say, it's a protective mechanism.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my main mottos is strong, not skinny. In fact, I tend to chew my clients out if I find them chasing a six pack because, sure, it looks good and all, but you're actually really weak. Lift this heavy stuff and eat this sandwich is what
I wouldn't mind sacrificing a little weakness for a six pack for, I don't know, 6 months or so.
Well, they're so hard to maintain, though. I mean, they really are.
Yeah. I mean, you don't got to tell me. I know how tough it is, please.
Well, of course. What am I thinking?
Call me for my 6-pack abs hypnotherapy program right now.
Oh, God. You know what? I bet there'd be a market for it. You can put that
I'm sure. There would be. Absolutely. So probably a lot of unhappy clients later, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I used to work with training bodybuilders in personal training, which I don't recommend. And if you ever want to meet somebody whose insecurity needs addressing, these poor people who are athletes, but their body is also their art, just that weird spiral they get into. But people don't realize the level of starvation and dehydration you have to be in, as well as how cold the buildings are for presentation. So I decided to leave that training industry when I found myself backstage with my trainees, surrounded by these very skinny boys who were just...
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. Extremely muscular, but thirsty. And these poor guys would just chug water. It's so destructive to the body and mind.
I remember like that in wrestling in high school, and surely they're not allowed to do that. Hopefully, they're not allowed to do that anymore. But I mean, we'd be running for, just skipping water and taking laxatives and all that stuff before weigh-in and everything. So definitely not healthy.
Yeah, I was a wrestler too, and I remember that game. Just no, thank you. I'll keep a healthy body instead.
So, if somebody's out there and they're wanting to get a healthier body, what would be 2 or 3 things that you think they might want to focus on right now?
Compound lifts and movements. I don't generally have people start with bench press as a compound lift, but I do like people starting with deadlift, hex squat, overhead press. Now, the reason why is one of the most neglected portions of the body is the posterior chain, which means basically from the heels all the way up to the back of the head. And functionally, the vast majority of your balance, especially for older people, is generated through that chain. The vast majority of your strength and lifting is generated through that chain. And the spinal protection from muscles in the back is incredibly important. In fact, I was in a car accident a couple of months ago, and the only reason I didn't get a more serious injury was exactly because I focus on my back. So what I would say is 3 times a week, work on several different compound lifts, most especially in the lifting position. From a squat position, stand, lift over your head in a safe and careful way, and build that up. You're going to get the strong core, you're going to get the strong glutes, hamstrings, quads, IT band. I mean, everything's going to come online with those full lift and carry movements. So squat to overhead press, farmer's walk, and pull-ups. Those 3 are by themselves would make a dynamite workout. But of course, you're more than welcome to check out my programs too.
Of course. So why would you tell people to avoid the bench press at first? Is it because you're trying to work on the posterior first?
Exactly. The bench press, I mean, it's a great exercise, but it's also kind of become one of those fashionable looks-only type of exercise. So people will do this ridiculous stuff, like have this massive arch along their back when they're trying to push huge amounts. I've seen more people injure themselves in bench presses than anything else.
Wow.
So when I'm working with clients, I have them, doing a push-up and pull-up regimen to strengthen the deltoid complex, the clavicular muscles, everything in that front complex, before they're ever loading a large amount of weight onto those shoulders to drop down onto their chest.
Mm.
So,
Gotcha.
it's just kind of a safety thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you're listening later, so if you're watching now, you're probably seeing all the links that we're dropping down here. If you're listening later on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever, it's Liberation Hypnosis. Liberation Hypnosis. Let's see. We've also got over on TikTok, Nick the Hypnotist. Nick the Hypnotist. What are you doing over there, Nick? I think I follow you on there. I think I have seen some of your videos.
I think so, yeah. I do a lot of my men's mental health stuff on there. I also do a lot of pagan-oriented things as well. So it's just kind of right now, mishmash as my channel finds its heart. But I just passed the ability to do lives. So I'm going to be doing a lot more lives on there and
Nice.
getting more actual hypnotic content available to people. Plus the odd ridiculous joke or two that I will put out there.
Shawn, what's your TikTok again? Is it SK Hypnosis? Well, we can't hear you, Shawn.
How's that? Even better?
Hey,
there we go.
There we go. Yeah, SK Hypnosis is definitely it's most of my social media. I tried to line everything up as nice and neat as I could, but somebody else has SK Hypnosis in like Quebec somewhere. So
damn that.
Yeah, I know. It's like
I could do the real SK Hypnosis.
That's right.
Because it is real.
There you go.
That's like the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Oh God. Wow, there's a 1980s flashback for you.
That's so frustrating when you can't get, like you end up with, I've got like different names all over the place. It's so irritating. Mark Barris, good to see you, my friend.
Hey, Mark.
Shawn, speaking of TikTok, what are you doing over there? You still doing some lives with some friends on there?
I'm getting back into the lives again. Sunday mornings with Chanel. We'll start that as soon as the time changes, and she lives in Portugal, so it's like a 7-hour difference.
Yeah.
I could start at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and that might be 2 in the afternoon for her. So after time changes, it'll only be a 6-hour time difference. So we'll be able to line that up a little bit better so that we're not cutting into her day and I'm not waking up at all hours of the morning to get onto TikTok. So, and then I've had lots of other people reach out and want to do some things. So Nick and I have talked about a couple.
Yes, we have. I have a laundry list of people that you're at the top of that actually I want to be reaching out to very soon.
This is the top of the pile.
Yeah. I need to stop adding names to the pile and actually start sending out the emails.
You know what? We've learned from doing Hypnosis Hero that it's always nice to have a good long list of people that you can pull from and say, hey, would you like to be the guest on the broadcast? Because it just opens up so much more when you have other people. Jim and I have done it ourselves a couple of times. And I mean, we're interesting guys and, we're cool happening dudes and, all that good stuff. But it's always nice to have somebody who comes in with a new perspective. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the only way to grow, right? Is to be exposed to ideas that aren't yours.
And you know what? Oddly enough, if you said that, if the three of us were walking down the hallway together and I was in the middle, it would look like two towers and this kind of shorter building in the
middle. Nobody would be able to tell because of the glare, though. I'm pretty sure we just.
It's our, it's our shiny, reflective personalities. That's what it is. We are shiny examples of humanity.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, we should just we could get team T-shirts shining examples of humanity, and then we'll just make sure we're always walking left to right.
Hey, if you guys have questions for Nick, drop them in the comments down below. I will tell you, I don't always see if you comment later. If you're watching this, later, not on the live, the comments get kind of lost somewhere on YouTube. So if I don't reply, I'm not trying to dish you. I just can't find them. I do periodically go through, and sometimes I find them, sometimes I don't. Doesn't seem to be any kind of rhyme or reason, but there probably is, and I just don't know what it is. Mark, help yourselves by helping others. Love that. That's really what this show is about too. It's about collaboration, not competition. Because like we're talking about right here with Nick, we're not looking for the same clients. We're all looking for different clients, and they're looking for different people, the people that resonate with them. So that's what I love about connecting with other hypnotists.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And talk about a great way to, spread your worldview like much wider. And
Yeah.
Mark, I love what you had say there. I also, one of the things I will say is very much that, but also help others by helping yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things with new hypnotists who haven't been at it for very long, and personal trainers for that matter, who want to lowball themselves badly. Some of them are only doing $100 sessions after, spending $5,000 in their training and certifications. And it's like, no, you don't understand the impact you're doing. You have to take care of yourself so you can take care of others first.
Right.
That's a hard lesson though, because I'm one of those guys that would, if it would work, I'd give you the shirt off my back, just to make sure you got ahead. And that's a hard lesson for some people to learn. It really requires a shift in your worldview.
Oh yeah, I mean, we live in a world that tells us, and it's kind of funny. In college, of course, because I went to a hard left leaning college in California, not to mock liberals, and it was very much, you have to do everything you can to accommodate women because of their struggles, like obviously. But then when I come here in Texas, it's very much, you have to do everything you can to accommodate men. It's like, okay, obviously, but why is it one at the cost of the other? So we have this world that trains people on all sides of, whatever spectrum you want to name, to always put someone else before ourselves. And I'm not really big on the Ayn Rand, enlightened selfishness nonsense, but I'm real big on putting yourself in the place where you know what you're worth and you can convince people what you're worth.
Yeah.
And that just gives you more power to make their lives better.
Absolutely.
And yourselves, of course.
And $100 for an hour's work, not a bad wage, but as you guys know, anybody who's in the field, we're not working 40 hours a week. We're spending a lot of time on marketing. We're spending a lot of time on networking, learning new stuff. So it's $100. What I realized was if I can't make a living doing it and I have to go get a job at the local mini mart, then I'm not serving people in the way that I want to serve people, in the way that I think that I've been gifted to help people. So you really are doing the world a disservice by not charging enough to support yourself.
Oh, absolutely. One of the most powerful inductions I use, I call all the way back, and I walk people all the way back to the Big Bang. Right? It's a long, drawn out progressive relaxation into metaphor and imagery. But the point of it is, it takes people from, in fact, Shawn, I'm not sure, but you might have actually been in one of my classes at Hypnotize when I did this one. I'm not sure. Maybe.
It's possible. Yeah. I remember sitting, it was 2 years ago when I was in your class.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And walk all the way back to the Big Bang. And for people to really grasp the importance of every single moment of their life, we have to understand the fact that regardless of your belief system, whether you believe in a higher power or not, the fact that, an explosion containing all the matter of the universe, all in a small space, had to happen. Everything went everywhere. A planet had to be positioned perfectly around the sun. Then a comet had to hit it to give it water. Then we had to have the exact right chemical composition for life to exist. Even if you believe in creationism, the odds of your great ancestors meeting, making babies, fighting, clawing a living out of the earth, doing everything they had to do, the likelihood of all the coincidences on the literal cosmic scale that has to happen to put every single moment in your life means that if you are not respecting yourself, you are just not paying attention to the fact that every moment is infinitely precious because of what had to happen to give it to you.
Yeah.
Well said.
And that's just kind of what I eventually, like, if I am talking to somebody who is very reluctant to raise their rates, I have to hit them with that.
No, that's 100%. You know, and I only have to go back a couple generations in my family to realize Dad's traced most of his side of the family back to like 1280 in the Ukraine, but on Mom's side, my granny was Scottish, where
Mhm.
I probably get most of my wonderfully tall stature. She was 4'11". My grandfather was black and was one of the last families out, we think, from West Virginia on the Underground Railroad. So his ancestors eventually hopped the border into Canada, and it's like, okay, so I got that far, but now where do I go from there? Because in both of
Mhm.
those cases, most of the records that would have been on for Granny would have been in Scotland and might be under, you know, might have been bombed out, and then for Grandpa, I mean, it would be a DNA test to just try
Mhm.
and figure out what side of Africa he came from.
Yeah, it's so amazing that we now have these sciences that tell us the stories that, the story of us. What is it that we were? Like my dad, is not a nice guy, but he was one of these white guys who keeps saying, "Oh, I'm a quarter Indian." So I grew up actually thinking I was like, somewhere around an eighth to a 16th Native American. It even says that on my military records. But I did 23andMe and come to find out I am straight Viking with a smidge of East Indian. I have one East Indian ancestor somewhere. So
Wow, interesting.
That's
yeah, so my
interesting.
dad
Yeah.
said Indian, but he was thinking the wrong ones. So yeah, it was just
You
kind
know,
of
it's so
fun.
it's so funny. My mom, same thing. She just, well, she considered herself 50% Irish and 50%
Mhm.
Native American Cherokee, and I don't think the numbers are even anywhere near that. But
Mhm.
it is us Americans. We like to claim that Native Americanness.
Yeah, I suspect, and this is uncharitable, but I suspect that so many Americans try and claim that to try to assuage the guilt that, we should rightfully kind of feel for the situation that happened to put us where we are. It is what it is, and we do these accommodations to try to, avoid the responsibility we should feel for our fellow human being. But that's this whole other thing, and that's like a political argument we probably don't want to like
Well,
unearth
and in Canada,
online.
it's even more complicated because of the way we've handled treaties and whatnot. And in the news, you would find from Canada a large number of news articles on missing and murdered Indigenous women,
Yeah.
Mm.
and you'd also find articles on grave sites, unmarked graves on the reserve with residential schools where literally we took the kids out of the house and out of their homes and forced them into these schools. So it
Mm.
has created a really really ugly legacy to try and unravel.
Yeah, and I mean, the only choice that we have, and just as human beings, I mean, at a certain point, we can just rip ethnicity and all the differences between us out of the argument and just acknowledge that if we want to acknowledge ourselves as human beings, we have an obligation, morally, functionally, and just as a species, to reach out and take care of people and right some wrongs when we can,
Yep,
but of course, prevent them from happening in the future as well.
absolutely. Yep,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like you can't do it all yourself,
Oh no,
but if
yeah.
we all do a little bit, it goes a whole lot further than all of us doing nothing.
Yeah, I like to tell people when they think that they're being inconsequential is, you can drop one pebble in a pond and the ripple will go. But if you throw 5 or 6 pebbles into a pond, you can have a much larger effect. So, find your people and then orient together towards what it is you want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Janae, I'm curious. When did you gasp? What happened that made you gasp? Love to see that.
And
Let
thank you,
us know.
Mark.
Let us know. If anybody's, so I wanted to let everybody know too. Mark Barris, friend of the show. If you're somebody who needs someone to help you with your social media, Mark Barris is the go-to guy. Check him out. Reach out to him.
Oh, I'll
Also,
reach out. Definitely. That's my weak spot.
oh, there you go. If Mark, you're welcome to put your website down there. Any hypnotists that are watching, you are always welcome to share your your web address. No scarcity thinking here. We're happy to share the wealth, share the love. What was I going to say? There was something. Oh, yes. I want to let everybody know. So, you know what? I totally screwed up the last episode of Hypnosis Hero. It's supposed to be second and fourth Friday. Okay, second and fourth. I always get it mixed up. But I used to always get it messed up. I don't anymore. There's my training coming in. I do want to let you know that we are not doing an episode on the 10th, so that would be the second one, but we're doing a special episode on November 8th at 1 p.m. Pacific because we are going to have the Kevin Lapine book release party on Hypnosis Hero.
I forgot Kevin was dropping a new book. All right.
Brand new book. And all it took for you. Yeah, good stuff right there. Good.
Awesome.
Glad that was that resonated with you, Janaea. And if you're in a position also, because, it's not just hypnotists, it's all entrepreneurs. And I do find it, especially the healing professions, even when I was a massage practitioner, we all were like, oh, I can't possibly charge people to help them. I'm like, well, the doctor charges,
Yeah.
Everybody's got to make a living. So,
yeah. And, as a society, we're not at a place where medicine and everything that we need to live is free. So until it is, raise your rates.
Yeah. And don't believe that it's free here because it's not. We pay for it. It's called taxes.
Yep.
Sure. So we're gonna have Kevin Lapine on. He's gonna be giving away some free stuff, all kinds of cool stuff happening on that day. So please join us again. We'll put a reminder up for you. But if you follow the channel, you'll get notified. Before we move on to the hypnosis, Nick, what else do you need to share with the world? What else do we need to know?
Right. The one thing that I like to teach people is that when you open up to the universe, the gods, God, whatever you want to call it, right? There is a definite power to living your truth. And the trick of it, of course, is finding out what your truth is. And if there's one lesson that I've learned in 32 years of doing this is that other people can point you in the right direction. Sometimes you need them to give you a foot in the ass too. But that truth is hidden in each and every person. And we live in a world right now where we're told, we're nothing, that our opinions don't matter, our lives don't matter in some circumstances. And we're seeing the tragic consequences of that mentality play out right now. But having that understanding of what your purpose and what your place is and what you're here to do, that really is so important. It's the thing that can keep you warm at night. It's the thing that can help you sleep like a baby after a long day. So finding that and sticking to it is so important. It's crucial. And it really is the difference between people who, bless them, but they'll go soul dead working at a job that will kill them, a 9-to-5 bagging groceries, for example.
Yeah.
As opposed to, doing what you need to do to get the education and the job pursuits and the growth that you need. We're all here to grow. I rambled a little bit there back at the end, but realistically, that's what it's about.
I agree. Yeah. And I got to say, there are some people that do seem to be comfortable, happy doing that, bagging groceries or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you do feel like there is something more that you want to be doing, then you really, really ought to be doing it. Like Nick said, do everything you can, because you know what? When you find that thing, I will tell you, it's amazing. It's magical. You'll work harder than you've ever worked in your life, but you love every minute of it, and it doesn't even feel like work. It's frustrating, but it's such a rewarding thing. So, go after it. Do it.
Yeah, we're here for what, 75 years, 100 if we're lucky. Why aren't we pardon the joke with the three of us here, but the fact that we're here for so short a time and we're not running towards our purpose like our hair is on fire kind of baffles me.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Because we've already run towards our purpose and they're turned off.
That's why we're all bald.
That's right. Exactly.
When you're going warp 9.975, it's tough to slow down.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're doing something right now and you're not sure if that's your thing, it's not your thing because you got the question. You'll know it. When it's your thing, you'll know it. So
I've had lots of people that I've worked with over the years in the education system that thought teaching was going to be something wild and wonderful and great, and they hit a rough patch with some students that needed a lot of extra help, and maybe acted out more than the average students and whatnot. And that was their last year teaching. They went on to go look for something that was more up their alley. And it's like, okay, but where's your commitment to your commitment? I mean, you train for this whole profession only to come out and do it for 3 or 4 years and say, no, teaching's not for me, and I'm gonna go do something else. Like, hoy, that's a lot of money to.
Yeah, it's a fair bit, and that's part of the trap. I mean, we get stuck in these jobs that pay us just enough to survive and just enough to kind of keep, barely hanging on by our fingernails, which is not a mistake. There are financial powers doing this. Sorry, Janae, I don't mean to call you out like that.
Yeah,
I don't think
sorry.
But we're at a point where there's so much technology and there's so many opportunities that even the traditional educational routes have been debunked as just kind of, a grift at this point. There's so much more out there that once you find, like Jim said, your purpose, there's no doubt. It is literally a fire that gets lit within inside you. There's an excitement every time you do it. For example, I don't know crap about building a website. I don't know anything about social marketing. I've always functioned by word of mouth. Now I sit down and yes, it's frustrating to try and figure all this out, but man, I'm happy when I do it.
Yeah.
And there's a joy that if you haven't got it yet, once you have it, you're there.
Yeah.
Not to beat Jim's dead horse, but.
No, you know what? I got chills when you said that because I've had that same feeling. Like I hate working on my website, but it's a rewarding thing when you look back. I almost kind of feel like I've created some art or something, like I look at it and go, wow, that looks really great. And of course, through my eyes of my non-trained website eyes, probably looks like crap, but still I feel like a sense of accomplishment and that I'm moving more towards my goal of doing what I do. So I get that completely. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I mean, just the feeling, I want to bring a little bit of magic into it. Part of the reason that I made WitchFit, for example, is I work with the goddess Hecate as part of, the sorcerer part of my business. And I literally asked her, I said, what is it that you want me to do? And she just said, you need to take care of my kids. And she's, the goddess of witches and magicians and such and pagans. And that's when I realized this is what I need to do. Is I need to actually start moving my business in the direction that I have now taken it.
Fantastic.
And it's fascinating, that light that goes off.
That's awesome.
On, I guess.
All right. Everybody out there, get ready because hypnosis is about to happen. Nick, are you ready to hypnotize these people?
Yeah, I believe that I am.
Excellent.
Do we have a particular purpose we want to go for?
Hey, if anybody's got an idea, if they want to drop something down below real quick, we will take it. Otherwise, we'll just let Nick decide. Oh, looks like we got something came in. What did they say? What did they say? The website, Jim. Yeah. I know. Scott King, excellent website designer, webmaster, builder. What was I doing? I was looking for something. I want to take that one off. So if anybody's got some ideas out there about what they'd like to have us do hypnosis about, and we're all going to join in. I know some of you have talked about how much you like that, so it's going to be all three of us doing some hypnosis. Therapeutic or more fun suggestions. I think Nick is more of a therapeutic guy. I think he'd probably we'd probably go more therapeutic tonight. But, I think here's what we'll do. Shawn, I don't think Kevin's going to want to stick around and do hypnosis on book release day because he's got a busy day. So you and I and Brian, maybe we'll focus on doing some fun stuff. We haven't done any fun hypnosis for a while. And not to say that hypnotherapy isn't fun, but I know what she means.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just start.
Sounds good.
So the first thing to actually really start to pay attention to when you begin to enjoy the process of relaxing And it's kind of funny because it's the very first thing we do. When you're born, the very first thing you do is take that breath so you can scream. And you don't need to scream. But I want you to take that breath now. And just breathe in and out. And let those shoulders drop. Now, what's really amazing is what happens when you breathe in and out. Because what you do is you take in all the oxygen, all the nitrogen, everything from the world around you. In, out. And keep that pattern going. And you literally put that in your blood. And then, of course, all the carbon, you just breathe out. So in a very real way, you're a part of the world around you. And I want you to just focus on that thought. Just being part of everything around you. And you'll notice how quickly, when you pay attention to everything you can hear right now, definitely my voice, but all the subtle sounds. And just take this moment now to relax and listen to my voice. And hear all those other little things and see how they can help you relax. And if your eyes are open, I want you to actually let your peripheral vision just see everything. Don't look at anything. Look at everything. And as that vision widens and you hear more and you can relax more, I want you to notice the smell of the room you're in or wherever you are. And keep looking and seeing and smelling. And you may even notice how relaxed you are when you start to notice the feel of the clothing on your skin. And you can let those eyes close whenever they close. You don't need to make it happen. Just relax into everything that's around right now. And I want you to imagine what it would feel like if I had a jar of warm golden oil and I just poured that on the top of your head. And you can really, when you pay attention to the top of your head, you can feel how warm that feels now. And not slowly, but not quickly, just gently, with every breath, let that move down through your head now. Just that warm relaxation. And isn't it a funny feeling the bones in your skull actually relax? And the eye is heavy, and the jaw drops. And you might notice how, just like when you take the tension out of a guitar neck, all those muscles in your neck can just go limp and loose. Now take a deep breath. Gently, easily, quickly send that feeling all the way through your body down to your toes. And just relax. And of course you're already counting. Aren't we always? And just let that count go on in your head. Each number, whatever number you're at, taking you farther and farther down. And you can just keep going until it becomes completely quiet in your mind and in your body. And you'll notice that feeling right underneath your feet, as if there's a magnet right there under the ground, pulling every single thing you don't want or need. Starting at the top of your head, just draining any tension or dis-ease, gently, easily, quickly leaving your body. And feeling that just actually flow right out of your feet. And you'll notice how easily your body can actually let you feel that now, as your unconscious mind becomes more and more powerful.
More and more powerful.
That's
Releasing what you need to release, embracing what you need to embrace, and only you know what that is.
And feeling that magnet pull even more powerfully now.
More powerfully.
And all the things that you embrace, filling those spots, those holes, those gaps, where all those miseries lived. Now free and open to take in more joy, more
That's
purpose, more power.
That's right. And you'll know when you know. You'll know
That's right.
when you know.
And even deeper.
Good. Perhaps you've already begun to realize what your purpose is. Maybe it begins to pull you like that strong magnetic force,
Always pulling stronger and stronger.
stronger and stronger.
Pulling you in a particular direction.
A direction that's best for you. A direction that moves everything out of your way so that you can actually feel, find, follow that purpose,
Follow
whatever it is.
That's right.
Follow that purpose.
And you'll notice that lighter feeling inside you now,
Lighter,
as everything that was holding you back is pulled out.
pulled out. Moving forward.
And how those holes in you have been filled now.
Filled. Totally, completely filled up. And I wonder what it feels like.
To be complete and on your path.
Just like that.
And on your path, being able to look forward and see what's coming. To plan for it, plan around it, plan through it, and plow through it as you gather speed.
And see the gifts on the road along the way. Those relationships, those moments of importance, those little things left behind, just for you.
Just for you.
That's right.
Picking them up. All of those gifts, knowing how to use those gifts, what to do with those gifts. Which of those gifts you need to give to another.
And which of those gifts to keep for yourself.
Good. That's right. And even as our voices overlap, you'll still be able to make out on a subconscious level everything that you need to know, everything that you need to see and hear and feel deep within you.
And that feeling can take you farther and farther. And you find the only limit you actually have is how far you want to go. And you want to go so far, don't you?
That's right. And in going so far, you'll know that you'll be further down the road than you ever were before.
And isn't that a funny thing? Being farther than you thought.
The world needs you.
And the world wants you.
And you can get there even faster.
Good. That's right.
And you may find you didn't even notice until now how you're right where you need to be.
Right where you need to be as you realize that everything has served a purpose.
And everything has served your purpose.
For your greater good.
And for the greater good of everyone you'll help.
Every person that you touch.
Every person you speak to.
Every person that feels what you're sending to them.
Every person you heal.
Perhaps they begin to feel that same magnetic force that you're already beginning to experience yourself.
And isn't that really amazing?
How you could touch so many lives.
And their lives touch so many lives.
A ripple effect.
Rippling everywhere.
Like those stones in a pond.
And letting those ripples move out now.
Further and further.
Healing, helping, growing, stronger and stronger.
And I wonder if you've begun to trust yourself in the process. And I wonder if you've begun to feel that sense of urgency, that need to become who you truly are.
That burning desire to actually set aside the things that are not you.
Good.
that need to put on the real you, not the costume, to set aside that which doesn't matter,
That's
and to
right.
truly live.
And as you truly live, you'll be able to show others how they can truly live.
That perfect example.
And I want you to feel all those spots that are filled now with that joy and that bright light feeling. And let it glow. Let it glow brightly and powerfully and warmly to draw those who need you to your light, like moths.
Good, that's right. You
And
can
as
go
you-
deeper and deeper, just as deep as you'd like to go.
And you'll find that you can go so deep now. You can go so very deep that you'll find that you actually begin to awaken again. Slowly, powerfully, just as that feeling within you begins to awaken. Awaken as if a giant power begins to glow strongly through you, awakening every portion of your body, of your mind, of your spirit. From your toes to your nose, every single part of you tingling, glowing, empowered. And isn't that an amazing thing? And coming back to the room now, slowly, powerfully, as this great and wonderful thing is now awakened in you. Feeling those thoughts fall into place, feeling the path set before you, knowing the challenges are challenges you can now face and overcome and enjoy.
Good. That's
And
right.
counting up now to 5. Every number bringing that power, that light, that joy, that sheer thundering purpose moving through your body and your mind more and more powerfully, more and more present now in 1, feeling it stronger and stronger still, growing within you. 2, knowing that this is why you're here, why your ancestors were here, why the cosmos put you in this exact place. 3, becoming aware of everything around you on an unconscious level as your heartbeat thunders with power and pride. 4, coming back to the world just on the brink of unleashing this amazing ability within yourself. And 5, coming back alert, refreshed, calm, cool, and collected.
Wonderful. For those of you that decided to participate with us today or in the future, please drop a comment down. Let us know what that experience was like for you. It's always fun to see what that's like.
Yeah, definitely. It's always kind of fun in groups to watch everybody just kind of fall into the hypnosis trance as well.
Yeah, I know. I was fighting it. I was like,
I saw.
Especially in the beginning.
I thought you might go, Jim.
Yeah, in the beginning there, you were saying some stuff that was just really like, I was like, oh yeah, that resonates. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reminded of something one time. I had a client I was working with on motivation, and at some point I said, and you feel that fire in your belly. And the client a couple days later said, I got to tell you, actually it was about a week later, he goes, for about the first 4 days I listened to the recording you made me, and during the hypnosis, I actually felt a burning. It was really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Was it down behind the belly button by any chance?
He just said in the belly. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a thing.
Oh,
I've had a number of clients who actually get it behind and just under the belly button. And interestingly, that's one of like the main energy points in a lot of Qigong. It's just one of those like, that kind of lines up things.
Yeah. That is interesting. Also I was thinking earlier about the esoteric stuff and, the kind of the woo-woo stuff. There's this, when I was a kid, I was named James Michael, but my mom decided later she didn't like the name James or Jim. So my whole family calls me Mike or Michael. So all my aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews, all that. And someone today who I know, fairly well, not that well, but she's heard my name a couple of times, I think, but she called me Mike. And I've had this happen. I've been called Mike more than anything else. Like if people get my name wrong, it's 70% of the time at least they call me Mike. And I feel like I'm sending out this aura of Mike. I don't know. Janaea,
Hey,
whoa. That felt so grounded and connected to everything. Also felt some tingling. Fantastic.
Nice.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool. Love that.
If I can't remember somebody's name, Jim, I'll just call them, hey, Diddly Fritz.
Good conversation opener.
Right.
Yeah, maybe you do carry an aura of Mike. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Maybe they read it off your face.
I was just thinking, you could market yourself as J.M. Kellner. Skip the I.
Ooh, that sounds like you should be running a bank, though. Like, if you got 2 initials and then your last name, I don't know about that.
J.M. Kellner, the rich hypnotist.
Okay, I like that. There we go.
Nothing wrong there.
A funny story about J.M. When I started my Hotmail account way back in, prehistoric times, I know.
Reaching back there.
Jim Kellner was already taken. Weird that there was actually another Jim Kellner. So I put J.M. Kellner, and I cannot tell you how many times I did not get emails because I would tell people it's J.M.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Jim, it's J.M. And they would still send it to Jim.
I bet Jim Kellner was getting a little sick and tired of getting all the emails for you.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. You're giving the Mike energy.
Giving Mike energy. All right.
Oh, there we go. As long as it's not mic drop energy. Then I have to get a black eye, so we all match. I don't want to do that.
I'm thinking it's magic Mike energy is what it is.
Oh,
I did it.
It's probably going to be a different live stream.
Onlyjim.com or onlymike.com. Only Mike's.
There you go. Yeah.
Nick, it's been a real pleasure to get to know you a little bit better. I look forward to seeing you in person again next time, so I'll know you a little bit better and we can have a chat in person.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What cons are you going to this year?
Well, I'm going to I'll be going to Heartland, Michigan, and Hypnothoughts at least.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm at Hypnothoughts Live every year, so
cool.
Yeah.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of fun. I'll flag it down. First beer's on me.
Oh, I like it. Any conferences? Any other conferences on your list?
Right now, I'm just doing Hypnothoughts. I've dumped all of my available reserves into building out my business and everything right now as I go fully remote. So unfortunately, I can't go out to all the fun things this year. But yeah, it pays off in the end.
It can be expensive. It can be.
Oh yeah.
As we and I got to tell you, it's I got a Facebook memory the other day of my wife and I a couple years ago. We'd been married about a year, and we were talking about we were going to start saving some money for a new car, and then suddenly, like a day later, I realized I needed some new audio equipment. So I was hiding in the bathroom ordering this audio equipment.
Like all men do.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That's where all great decisions are made.
Yeah. I mean, you're just sitting there. Why not do something while you're at it, right?
Why not? Go spend some of that money that we're not saving. She's always very supportive, though. If you need it for the business, spend it. I do try to keep it in check because you can really go crazy with it. That's for sure.
Oh, you can talk yourself. Oh, I can just write this off. I'm like,
still to make the money. Although it'd be like, it's a write-off. It's a write-off. Yeah, well.
You write off if you made the money to write it off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, hey, everybody, coming soon, the Magiotherapy, launching November 1st. Go check out Nick. I mean, you see he's a swell guy. He's got a lot of interesting things that he does and viewpoints. I've had just a blast talking to you, Nick.
Oh, Jim, it's been actually really great. Actually having a face-to-face conversation there. You've definitely been on my laundry list of people I actually want to have conversations with.
Fantastic.
So I'm glad it came out. Yeah. And thanks for bringing us together, Shawn. That was awesome.
Yes, thank you, Shawn. Shawn is really the brains behind the whole operation here, everybody, as you probably already guessed. He's the one that reminds me, hey, did you get a guest yet? Shoot, no. Do you have do you have their information yet? No, I don't. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll get you a
everyone
nice
needs a Shawn in their
checklist
life.
for you, Jim.
They do. What's that,
Yes,
Shawn?
I'll make sure I get you a nice, neat little checklist.
Right.
2 weeks before, 1 week before, 2 days before.
You know, I actually have a checklist somewhere. I just can't remember where I put it.
Okay.
Needs to be item 1 on the checklist.
Sticky note around
This
your
on the
forehead.
wall.
And yes, everybody needs a little Shawn in their life.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
All right. And with that, we will end there. Hey, remember to catch us on November 8th. Set your calendar or set your reminder on your calendar, November 8th. Kevin Lapine going to be talking about his new book. And please head over to Jim Kellner, hypnotist.com. Head over to SK Hypnosis and Nick. What's your
LiberationHypnosis.com.
liberationhypnosis.com and your best handle for people to reach out.
Excuse me. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as Nick the Hypnotist, and my Facebook is actually in this list of links here as well. So feel free to
check them all out. Yeah. Shawn can't help being a teacher.
That's how it works.
Exactly. All right.
Sure,
Hey,
that'll probably influence my HT Live application, I'm sure.
There you go. You haven't gotten it in yet?
I still got 4 days.
I'm in the same boat every year too. Stephanie has had to send me emails like, "Hey, we're still waiting," and I'm like, "I'm sorry." Send that off.
No, tomorrow's my day. I've got a bunch of stuff on the docket for tomorrow, including rearranging my office because once my son leaves to go live with his mom in the next week or so, I'm not moving any of the heavy stuff myself. So,
good idea. Good idea.
You know, it might as well, use the free labor while I have it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why you have kids, right? I mean,
indeed.
There you go.
Thanks again to the people that are here. Like almost every episode, we got Janaea, Mark, Scott King. We really appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate all of you people that watch and all of you that watch later. Hey, even when you watch it later, it's still awesome to share it. Go give this post, give this video, this recording, give it a share. Like us over on Spotify and all the places. Just do all the things. We love you. Take care. Be well. Be awesome.
Have a good night.